We are entering the African Savannah. We are greeted by this African mask, and here we have the Colinda National Park and Preserve, which we will go in shortly. First up, we have the Red River Hogs. There's the sign. And here they are right now. Just snoozing away, I guess. Here we have a cheetah chasing a little gazelle or a goat. We're gonna call the goat Aladdin, after the Disney movie Aladdin, and we're gonna call the cheetah Jafar, after the villain. But where's Iago? At least we still have this Dippin' Dots shack. Here we have the sign depicting horns. Here we have this rhino just relaxing in that corner. It's a white rhino. Here we have the climbing tree. That's what some fans like to call it. This sign's reminding us to stay on the trail. Here we have the lions. One's just lounging near that gate, and the lioness, even though you can't really see her, is just coming on that train. Hopefully she's gonna take a ride on the train. And another is just lounging near that rock. Here we have the white-bearded wildebeest. Normally there'd be pelicans and gazelles, but unfortunately, I don't think they're out. And just like that, Audubon, you did it again. You got rid of the signs for the gazelles. Wah, wah, wah. And at least we still have the turtles. They're just lounging around happily, swimming away. We have the Colinda Station #1. Here's that mural of African wildlife and the view of that lion exhibit. You can see him just licking her paws. Now we're gonna go inside the train. First we have some posters and some artifacts and even some backpacks. And here's the lioness. She just got on the train and she's licking her paws. Now I doubt that this train's actually gonna depart with her on it. If you haven't noticed, a hidden Mickey's on the second train car. Here's what the second train car looks like on the inside. And here's the paw prints. And that old Windows XP computer. And that TV, which doesn't really work anymore like it used to. And there's a map of the preserve. And another poster. Look at that little lion on that train car. Choo-choo! Here we have that water tower, then we have the painted dogs, which is our next exhibit, and a wanted poster. Here we have Monkey Hill. You know, for a period of time, the slide was blocked off, though the treehouse was still open. And there's lion statues on top of Monkey Hill, if you haven't heard.
They're sleeping in that back weekend.
Here we have painted dogs. You can see him sleeping over there. Shh, she's sleeping. Don't wake her up. Or rather, don't wake the dogs up. Here's the sign for the African painted dog right here. And you can get a whole view of their exhibit here. Here we have the giraffes. You can see that duo just hanging out over there. Here we have Twiga Terrace. And here's the giraffe feeding area. There's the seating area over there. And here we have another sign. And here we have Watito Walk, which unfortunately did not have a proper ending. They closed in 2020 and they said it was a brief closure, but they turned it into a permanent one. But at least Watito Farm is still open.
Hey, bro, we can go down the swamp.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to Louisiana.
Here we have the tortoises just hanging out. Whoa. And here we have the zebu. Normally they have the donkey and the chickens, but unfortunately at the moment they are not out. Here we have the boat, which marks the entrance to the Louisiana Swamp. Here we have that boat hanging up there to start the trip, along with two little signs. This exhibit opened 1984. Here we have some turtles and an alligator. And there's one on that dock now.
And so we redid the enclosure for
Here we have a black bear just lounging around.
over by the in Asia.
Look at that little turtle with his legs sticking out. He looks ridiculous. Then we have this bayou boat, this cabin boat, or whatever you call it, with that guitar and a fiddle for hire. They have two bears in this exhibit. And here's the bayou nets, whatever this is. And we have this thingy and this bathtub, and that's about it. There's actually a third bear, just in case. Here we have a raccoon. There we have the outhouse and a broken down car. And here we have a raccoon up in that tree. Well, you can't see him really, but there he is right there. Here's a little fence blocking off the defunct cougar exhibit. Fun fact, Audubon Zoo used to have cougars until last year. There we have the Cypress Knee Cafe and the Filet Doo-Doo Cajun Dance Hall. Look at that, little alligators just lounging on that fishing dock. And that little alligator is lurking in the murky waters. Now inside the Cypress Knee Cafe, the first thing you see is a display of a record player, as well as all the paintings that they have in this cafe. And over here you have some portraits, as well as posters, as well as a sign that reads closed, as well as a painting of some crawfish. Who's ready for some swamp pop? Here we have an alligator snapping turtle. And that's his pond. And here's the food. Tongue.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Right down there. See his shell on his head?
You can see his shell on his head right there. And look, someone left their sandals. More swamp this way. Normally they have this gate open, but it looks like it's closed right now. So I guess we're having to go inside the gift. And here we have the gift shop, housing merchandise from the zoo, as well as merchandise from Louisiana Swamp. Up ahead, you can see swamp portraits, as well as a diorama featuring a gator statue, as well as a taxidermy owl. And here's the plush snakes and all those plushies near the counter. Alright, we're headed out of the gift shop. Leaving the shop, we have an otter just swimming in the pool. There's the sign for the otter. The Gumbo Trail. Gator crossing. So that means we have to look out for gators. Speaking of gators, here's a giant gator now. Got a Texas rat snake. He's popping out of his mailbox here. Home sweet home. Here's a little sign that reminds us of earlier. Don't throw anything in his pool. Oh, poor little gator. He died because someone may have thrown anything in his pool. RIP. Got some terrariums right there. Here we have a live bait fish tank. And some snakes. And some spiders, of course. Where are the spiders? Terrariums right there. Cottonmouth. Ribbon snakes. And black widow spiders. You're over your target, black widow spiders. Jump! More dioramas. And even a copperhead. And even some more snakes. Here's some crayfish underwater. Looks like above the surface. Another diorama. And of course, one more snake. And there's supposed to be a anole at the top terrarium. That's right, top terrarium. This is the aquarium side. We have European brown carp and some alligator gar. The next aquarium is home to blue catfish, sunfish bluegill, and of course, channel catfish. There we have the swamp monster and his owl friend, and it's the Rougarou. It's his 25th birthday today. So, happy birthday, big old scary beast. Hopefully we can make you an animatronic soon. Or would you want to see this guy as an animatronic? Put it in the comments down below. Here we have a former aquarium with panels depicting Diamondback trapping. You can see the empty aquarium. There's gator crossing. There's also dioramas of a boat and a fish or panels just covering up the tank. It was, I think they briefly closed it, but I think they might have turned it into a permanent one. Moving on, let's enter Jewel of the Swamp, the white alligator.